Have you ever wondered how daily masturbation affects your body? It's natural to be curious, especially since many of us grew up hearing myths and frightening stories about it. The truth is that this subject touches on important physical and emotional aspects of our health. Today we're going to explore, based on scientific evidence, what really happens when you masturbate every day, from hormonal changes to effects on sleep and overall well-being. I'm here to help you better understand your body and make more informed decisions about your intimate health. Masturbation has historically been a topic shrouded in mystery, prejudice, and moral judgments. Over the centuries, various cultures have built complex narratives around this practice, oscillating between periods of intense repression and moments of greater openness and understanding. For instance, in ancient Greece, sexuality was viewed as a natural part of life, whereas during the Middle Ages, religious discourses stigmatized any sexual expression that wasn't strictly for procreation. Social transformations, particularly in the 20th century, have brought new perspectives on human sexuality. Researchers, such as Alfred Kinsey and Masters and Johnson, made significant contributions to dispelling myths about sexual behaviors, including masturbation. Their groundbreaking studies demonstrated that this practice is not only normal but also an integral part of the healthy sexual development of both men and women. In modern times, we see a gradual normalization of the topic. Sexual health movements, more comprehensive sex education, and increased access to information have all contributed to reducing the stigma. Newer generations tend to be more open and less ashamed when discussing sexuality, recognizing masturbation as a natural expression of desire and self-knowledge. Recent research indicates that approximately 95% of men and 89% of women have masturbated at some point in their lives. These numbers reveal just how universal this practice is, regardless of gender, age, or culture. The diversity of individual experiences shows that there is no single way to experience one's sexuality. Anonymous testimonials collected on the subject reveal a wealth of feelings and perspectives. Some people describe masturbation as a moment of connection with themselves, a way to relieve stress, and a means of exploring their bodies. Others express internal conflicts rooted in more conservative upbringings, demonstrating how deeply cultural factors influence our relationship with sexuality. It is essential to understand that masturbation is not merely a physical act, but also a process of self-discovery. It represents a way to explore your own desires, boundaries, and sensations, contributing to a healthier and more positive relationship with your body and sexuality. The contemporary approach aims to promote an honest, respectful, and scientifically based dialogue on the subject, moving away from outdated moralistic views and encouraging a broader, more humane understanding of human sexuality. When we talk about the physical impacts of daily masturbation, we need to dive into a deep scientific analysis, avoiding simplistic generalizations. The energy expended in this practice is significantly lower than many imagine. Studies show that a session of masturbation burns roughly 3 to 4 calories, an expenditure comparable to a short walk or climbing a flight of stairs. The hormonal system is a complex universe when considering the frequency of masturbation. The production of testosterone, a hormone traditionally associated with male sexual performance, undergoes subtle variations. Research indicates that brief periods of abstinence can trigger a temporary spike in testosterone levels, but these changes are not significant or permanent. Interestingly, the connection between masturbation and sleep deserves special attention. Orgasm triggers the release of a cocktail of neurotransmitters such as oxytocin, prolactin, and endorphins, substances that promote relaxation and a sense of well-being. This hormonal cascade can facilitate both physical and mental recovery, contributing to more regular and restorative sleep patterns. A precise physiological understanding must consider the individuality of each body. There is no universal model that explains the effects of masturbation. Factors like age, physical conditioning, health history, and even emotional state directly influence how the body responds. Sexology experts emphasize that when practiced in moderation, masturbation does not pose significant risks to physical health. On the contrary, it can be an important mechanism for self-discovery and for regulating well-being. The key lies in balance and in attentively listening to your body's signals. The hormonal production during masturbation involves complex mechanisms. The body releases not only testosterone, but also other hormones such as dopamine and serotonin, which are crucial for mood regulation and the sensation of pleasure. This dynamic demonstrates that solo sexual activity goes beyond merely the physical, touching deep psychological aspects as well. Understanding these processes scientifically helps demystify unfounded fears and promotes a healthier relationship with one's own sexuality. When practiced consciously, masturbation can be a powerful tool for self-discovery and the promotion of overall health. The effects of masturbation on mental health are as profound as they are complex. Imagine masturbation as an emotional escape valve, a moment of intimate connection with yourself where stress can literally melt away like ice under the sun. The release of neurotransmitters during the process functions like a genuine cocktail of well-being. Endorphins, serotonin, and dopamine perform a chemical dance that brings about immediate relaxation. It's as if your brain were receiving a warm internal embrace that reduces anxiety and lifts your mood. However, not everything in this emotional landscape is rosy. Compulsive masturbation can be indicative of emotional dependency. Some people use this practice as an escape from inner turmoil, transforming an act of self-discovery into a mechanism for avoiding reality. Psychologists warn that this dynamic can mask deeper emotional issues, such as low self-esteem or difficulties coping with stress. The relationship with your body also merits attention. Masturbation can be a powerful tool for self-acceptance, allowing you to understand your anatomy, desires, and limits without external judgment. It is a quiet form of empowerment, where every touch is a declaration of self-love. Yet, when done in excess, it can lead to conflicting feelings. Guilt, shame, and anxiety may arise, especially in more conservative cultural contexts. These negative emotions do not stem from the act itself, but from social constructs that have historically stigmatized sexuality. The key is balance and understanding. When practiced consciously, masturbation transforms into a self-care ritual. It allows you to disconnect from external pressures, reconnect with your emotions, and redefine your relationship with yourself. It is important to emphasize that there is no universal standard. Every body, every mind, and every sexual history is unique. What serves as liberation for one person may become a source of distress for another. Thus, tuning into your inner voice, respecting your own limits, and seeking professional support when necessary are all crucial parts of this journey of self-discovery. In essence, masturbation is not just a physical act, but a complex emotional experience that invites you to look within, understand your desires, and accept your whole self. The relationship between masturbation and productivity is a fascinating territory that sparks curiosity and raises many questions. How can this intimate practice impact our daily performance? Is there truly a connection between masturbating and being productive? Academic studies have revealed some interesting insights about this dynamic. Some athletes and high-performing professionals report that solo sexual activity can serve as a method of tension relief, subsequently contributing to improved concentration and focus. The release of hormones like endorphins and dopamine may produce a more relaxed, yet paradoxically efficient mental state. On the other hand, the time spent on masturbation can become a strategy for procrastination for some people. When the act turns into an escape from daily challenges, it can become an obstacle to productivity. Psychologists point out that if practiced compulsively, masturbation might indicate mechanisms of evading responsibilities or untreated anxiety symptoms. The key to balancing this aspect lies in self-regulation and understanding your own behavioral patterns. Establishing healthy boundaries, creating routines that prioritize both sexual self-care and professional development can be an intelligent strategy. Experts from various fields suggest practices such as setting specific times for personal activities, employing time management techniques, and seeking more constructive outlets. In this context, masturbation ceases to be a disruptive element and is instead recognized as a natural part of human expression. It is interesting to note that productivity isn't necessarily linked to complete abstinence, but rather to balance and awareness. A person who maintains a healthy relationship with themselves, including their sexuality, tends to exhibit greater focus and achievement. Interviews with athletes and executives in qualitative studies reveal that masturbation can act as a form of energy release, paving the way for improved concentration on subsequent tasks. The secret lies in moderation and in recognizing that every body and mind functions uniquely. Thus, productivity isn't measured by the mere presence or absence of masturbation, but by one's ability to manage impulses, emotions, and time. A conscious and respectful approach to oneself is always the best path to high performance. The fine line between a natural practice and a harmful behavior represents a delicate and complex territory in the human sexual experience. Recognizing when masturbation shifts from being a healthy act of self-discovery to becoming a detrimental habit requires careful and honest self-observation. Mental health professionals point out several signs that may indicate such an imbalance. When masturbation begins to interfere significantly with personal relationships, professional responsibilities, or emotional well-being, it serves as an early warning signal. Imagine someone who gradually withdraws from social interactions, neglects commitments, or postpones responsibilities because of this practice. Typical behaviors indicative of a potential addiction include a compulsive need to masturbate, even in inappropriate moments or despite negative consequences, loss of control over the impulse, subsequent feelings of guilt, and an inability to break the cycle. These are important indicators that deserve careful attention. Psychotherapists emphasize that such behavior often masks deeper emotional issues. It may serve as an escape valve for anxiety, loneliness, low self-esteem, or unresolved trauma. In this context, masturbation acts as a temporary relief mechanism, but it does not address the underlying problems. The negative impacts extend beyond the individual. Relationships can suffer, especially when someone begins to prefer solitary stimulation over real emotional connections. Emotional intimacy deteriorates, creating a cycle of isolation that reinforces compulsive behavior. It is important to stress that there is no moral judgment in this discussion. The goal is to promote self-reflection and well-being. Recognizing harmful patterns does not mean condemning sexual activity. It means understanding its healthy limits. Professionals recommend several strategies for those who notice signs of dependency. Seeking specialized therapy, joining support groups, and practicing mindfulness techniques can be effective ways to redefine the behavior. The key is approaching oneself with compassionate understanding, without punishment or shame. The journey toward balance is deeply personal. Every individual carries a unique history, complete with distinct emotional contexts and personal experiences. What matters most is maintaining a curious and compassionate attitude toward oneself, understanding that change is a gradual process of self-discovery and personal growth. The strategy to balance masturbation starts with a deep dive into self-awareness. Identifying the emotional and situational triggers that lead to compulsive behavior is essential. Some people discover that moments of stress, boredom, or loneliness trigger more frequent impulses. Recognizing these patterns isn't about self-judgment. It's about understanding the emotional roots of the behavior. Mindfulness techniques can be powerful tools in this journey. Practices like meditation, conscious breathing, and observing one's emotions help develop a deeper awareness of impulses. When the desire arises, you learn to observe it without necessarily acting on it, creating a space of choice where there was once only automatic reaction. Alternative activities represent essential strategies for redirecting energy. Physical exercise, artistic endeavors, and hobbies that require focus can engage your mind and body in creative and constructive ways. Whether it's sports, music, painting, or creative writing, each person can find their own method to channel energy and fill emotional gaps. Physical exercise deserves special mention, not only as an alternative but also as a complementary self-care practice. Running, weight training, yoga, or dancing can naturally release endorphins, replacing the search for instant gratification with a deeper, more lasting sense of satisfaction. Establishing routines and clear boundaries is another effective strategy. Setting specific times for personal activities, creating environments that minimize triggers, and developing a balanced routine can help break compulsive cycles. The key is flexibility and understanding that the process of change isn't linear. Social and professional support can make all the difference. Specialized therapists, support groups, or even honest conversations with close friends can create networks of emotional support. Sharing your challenges diminishes feelings of isolation and shame, transforming the journey of self-discovery into a lighter, more human process. Technology also offers useful resources. Meditation apps, habit trackers, and online communities can be valuable allies in the process of self-regulation. It's important to choose tools that promote awareness rather than guilt. Every person writes their own story of transformation. The goal isn't total elimination, but rather a conscious balance, respecting your own body, understanding your limits and desires, and building meaningful connections with yourself. This is the true path to a healthy, integrated sexuality. Personal transformation stories reveal how simple changes can have significant impacts on people's lives. These narratives go beyond common perceptions, showing that the journey of sexual self-discovery is both unique and profoundly transformative. João, a 32-year-old programmer, shares his experience of redefinition. Previously, compulsive masturbation served as an escape valve for work-related stress. After undergoing therapy and adopting mindful practices, he discovered that his need was closely linked to work pressure. By balancing his emotional life, he not only reduced the frequency of his masturbation, but also significantly improved his professional performance. Maria, a 28-year-old visual artist, experienced a similar journey. Her account shows how masturbation transformed from a means of escape into a tool for self-discovery. Through meditation and artistic expression, she redefined her relationship with her body and discovered healthier channels for emotional expression. Sexology experts emphasize that these stories are not exceptions, but represent real possibilities for transformation. Each narrative demonstrates that change doesn't mean total elimination. It means a deeper understanding of one's impulses and needs. The testimonials converge on one fundamental point. When practiced consciously, masturbation can be an experience of personal growth. It's not about judgment or condemnation. It's about understanding the emotional mechanisms behind the behavior. Experts stress that this process requires patience, self-reflection, and often professional support. Transformation doesn't happen overnight, but through small, conscious steps towards self-acceptance and self-care. These shared stories serve as beacons of hope. They show that it is possible to redefine one's behaviors, develop healthier relationships with oneself, and build an integrated and respectful sexuality. Each person's journey is unique, yet connected by a common thread: the search for balance, understanding, and self-love. These narratives inspire others to look inward with compassion, free from fear or shame, and to recognize that personal transformation is a continuous journey of discovery and growth. The call to reflection encapsulates the essence of this entire journey. The video invites each viewer to look at themselves with honesty and compassion, acknowledging that sexuality is a complex and deeply personal experience. More than merely providing information, the goal is to inspire personal transformation, making self-knowledge the true protagonist. The comments, stories, and shared experiences will be crucial in building a community of open and respectful dialogue about sexuality, one that breaks taboos and promotes a more humane and holistic view of the subject.